Like you guys never did anything bad when you were a kid.
I was
Oh yeah, you were, oh yeah.
We're doing it now.
Yeah, I'm paying up for all the mistakes I've done.
Good
Yeah.
to go,
Right, you're an
perfect. So I want to welcome everyone to the Corporation of Township Ballinger Valley, the committee meeting agenda. Today is Tuesday, February 15th, 2022. Time is 3 p.m. We're meeting in the council chambers in the municipal building. Is there any additions to the agenda? Councillor Sisson?
Nope.
Councillor Rosner?
No,
Mayor Murphy?
I do. I have late breaking news. So I'd like to add a meeting with Enbridge. They would like to meet with us just to bring us up to speed on all things natural gas in Eganville. So if we could add that, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
And the firefighter certification is in our package, but it's not part of the agenda. I would like to speak to it just for a moment because I don't have a mayor's report today. It's been a light couple of weeks, but I think that this is something that we definitely need to discuss.
Yep, no problem. We'll add that as Enbridge is number 5 and number 6 will add as fire certification program.
Perfect.
nope.
Good, and I don't have anything to add. So could I have a confirmation of the agenda, please? Councillor Citizen, all those in favor? Perfect, thank you very much. Is there any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Was there any errors or omissions with the minutes from February 1st, 2022? I didn't note any. Okay, could I have a mover, please, to confirm? Councillor Rosner, thank you. All those in favor? Perfect, thank you. We do not have any delegations today, so we'll move forward. And we do have Kevin here for recreation, so we'll give you the floor and good to go.
Hello, everybody. Good to see everybody back. So my report's fairly straightforward. Good to have the rink back up and running. We have all our user groups back. So minor hockey, figure skating, junior Bs, everybody's back booking the same amount of ice time as they were previously. We're just staying status quo. Our last day of ice is April the 2nd. So yes.
I was wondering, Kevin, since the rink was kind of shut down for a month, is there a hard date on that, or can we extend that a little bit now because we know that everybody can use it? Maybe we can have a little bit extra time. Is that possible?
And I'm wondering if maybe the vaccination rules might change. And if we could have another couple of weeks.
Well,
is that
that's up for discussion.
Okay.
The big thing with that is we'll have to put some feelers out, see where the support is. It's a great suggestion, but I want to make sure we have enough rentals to justify.
Yep, it depends on the outside temperature too.
That's correct. Yeah.
Because that has an impact of.
At our meeting up in Pembroke with the recreation department, a lot of the other rinks are, some of them are stretched out. Petawawa is April 27th, a little longer. They have a couple of rinks. Renfrew is April 23rd. Arm Prior is one rink is April 18th, the other one is April 3rd. So Westmeath, Whitewater region, I should say, is March 27th, closing 2 rinks. The other rink shutting down a little earlier, March 18th. So everybody is in the March kind of deal. Deep Rivers, March 27th. So everybody's in that same.
I thought you said April 27th. I'm sorry.
That was Petawawa. Which one was Petawawa? Was that one? You said April?
Petawawa is April 27th.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go through the last bunch of announcements that have been unfolding the last couple of weeks. So is it still required to have proof of vaccination
Yes.
at the arena? It is.
At this time.
Okay.
But as we know, and I'm going to speak to this when we get to the letter, things change so rapidly.
They have.
Right? And so I think that my hope is, and what we're hearing from the province is that there might be the passport being no longer required. So that's why I like your suggestion, Tim, but I think that we really need to keep our eye on what the province is doing, because it will probably be 4 o'clock on a Friday that they change the rules. because that's what we've come to know and love. But I do think that if we can get kids out and about, I think it's so important, especially at that weird time of year where you're not really using the ball fields or, you know, snowmobiling, but you could still use the arena and not the outdoor rink.
And the thing is too, with the way the rapid evolution of what we're seeing right now, with the permission of council, if things do change, would we consider an extension for those that haven't been able to attend? You know, it would, I mean, is that possible, or should we leave that for that time?
Well, I think that with temperatures, I think we can revisit this at our March 15th meeting
Next meeting. March first
Right.
meeting, actually.
or March 1st meeting. sorry, yeah.
And I would definitely, you know, consider supporting a public skate for that, right, if it does happen.
Well, for planning
I will do
purposes,
another one.
I will do a public skate for sure.
Actually, I owe for my public skate, just so you know. Don't let me leave here.
so for planning purposes, Kevin, so
If there's
if,
a need for an extension, I definitely will do that.
so with the second weekend in March, would that be enough time between March 15th and April 2nd for everything you have to do to say, start closing it? Or so if we aim for a happy medium right now, say in the middle of April, that we want to extend it by 2 weeks, and then we can review it again on March 15th if we want to have it later in April.
When is Easter? Where does that fall in? April, that's the date, because if we extend it, if Easter's early, I'm not sure, because then you got Good Friday, you got Easter Monday, you got Easter Sunday, so are you gonna have those facilities open at that?
Right, okay, but okay. But even if we extended it into the third week of April, and of course, I get what you're saying, Kevin. I think that you have to determine, you know, the want or the need. But I do think that if they lift the vaccination requirements, then some of these kids and parents will want to get out and skate.
So right now, what is the date that you have planned to close the rink?
April the 2nd.
April the 2nd. So if we extended a week to the 9th, Easter is the following weekend on the 15th.
Oh. I think that we can revisit this in March.
Yeah.
Let's see how temperatures go,
Kind of do a soft close date right now at this
Right.
point in time, and
like a soft opening.
yes.
But again, things change
Mhm.
daily, sometimes hourly. So I think that, yeah. Just keep your eye on it, Kev.
Yeah, I kind of heard March 1st was gonna be another, like,
Yeah,
Yes,
but
and my fear is that after we talked about this letter that we want to send to the Prime Minister, my phone blew up, my email blew up. I think that there was a total misconstruing of the purpose of this letter, and that we were all anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers. And I think that all we're doing is saying, just give us a timeline, and we'll follow the timeline
And stick to the timeline.
and stick to the
And,
timeline.
and that's the thing, right? Because it does keep our, I'm not trying to put any type of, you know, condensation on the topic, but for instances like this, we have to get stuff out to public as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of public have invested in preventative measures and different things, and then still get changed midstream. It's cost a lot of people, including municipalities, to have to change when it evolves as rapidly as it has without sticking to what's going on. And that's basically what we asked, I believe, right, as council, was to stick to it, and
Yeah, but
that's it.
I don't think that, we'll talk about it when we get to that. But I don't think the general population understood the flavor of what we were trying to get across.
We can discuss that though when we get to it.
Yeah.
So then Kevin, just
So,
keep going through the
but
report.
I think it's good that Kevin hears this, because I think that, you know, what we're saying is that we don't necessarily want you to have a hard close date.
Okay.
Thanks, Kevin.
And like we said, I'll reach out to the other users if there's use. Minor hockey is a big supporter. If they're on board, then it's, you know. But anyways, we'll reach out and see what our response is. Just overall maintenance of the rink, just a few little, like, you know, overall maintenance. Centennial Park continuing the maintenance. Found this Monday morning on the ground. So anyways, it's one of those things. a couple of schools have been using, the outdoor rink sporadically. when the
That's
weather's-
great.
So that's good to see.
It is great, yeah.
Any rink gonna survive tomorrow and the next day?
Oh, yeah.
Like
That is a very good question.
how much ice do we have on there, do you know?
It's hard to say. I have a
Yeah.
4x4. I got a good, probably 3 inches,
3.
but that's just, I'm just going with a 4x4 again.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
But,
But boy, if it's gonna be 6 or 7 degrees tomorrow,
Well, the thing is, if it chills off, who
Yeah.
knows?
it doesn't take
It's-
long.
it's the rain.
No, and it's gonna take, that's gonna hold up
Yeah.
fairly well, and then it goes right back into double digits.
Just consider
Thursday
a
night,
free
right?
flood especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just self levels itself
Yeah.
out and then good deal,
Gonna get some snow mixed in with it, so.
or even better,
Curling.
support the skate sharpen.
That's right. Curling rink, we're working on the net zero program budget, like the Legion Field, the parking lot up there, we cleaned it off. It's still getting used sporadically, not as much as it was, but anyways. We had to put no dog signs up at the soccer field.
Dogs can't play soccer.
Yeah. We received a few, or the office received a few complaints, so we went about putting signs up and hopefully the message will be out. Discussion about the piano in Centennial Park. We talked about this and then Gerald reached out and then I was talking to Gerald, so this is Gerald's
Yeah.
words on this.
Yeah.
So anyways.
I like, will it stay in tune? Yes, sort of. That's so Gerald.
It's outside, like, it's not like,
Yeah.
as long as it's relatively.
Seems straightforward, to be honest. so.
Yeah, I know Gerald's going to work with,
Yeah, he
you know, if he's,
I say we try it,
Yep,
right? It's
yeah.
innovative, it's outside, it's just another thing to do. Will people go and play and people can sit outside of the band shell? Like, I kind of dig this. I'd really like to see if it works. I would hope that people won't vandalize it, but yes, I would love, I think we try it.
I'm definitely for it too. I think he's answering the questions and that's
I
why I
know.
asked them, right? So, hey, I'm very satisfied with the answers he's given,
Well,
so.
and storing it at the curling club makes a lot of sense
Sure.
Yeah.
for the winter time,
Yeah.
right? Maybe people would like to play it when they're at a bonds field.
Yeah.
So, no, let's do it.
And who cares if it's out of tune a little bit?
Yeah.
Just set up a beer tent beside it.
I know what you
want.
Tom said, hey,
Nobody will care.
yeah. Song might be wrong, but it'll be ringing. Right? Yeah.
I'm not sure if anybody noticed, but I just noticed, took me the flower planters. I'm assuming horticulture went around and decorated them all. So for Valentine's Day, so it was a nice little touch at the time of the season. So it's nice to see. I'll move on to Dana's report. Dana, if we get all our funding for all the applications Dana's applied for.
Maybe the richest township.
We're gonna be very, very busy, so no, she's been working very hard, everybody's been contributing to all the different programs, so.
But there are only like 15 or 20 applications.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So the shop local one, it starts in March, we have 10 businesses already that bought into the program, so that's starting. So the snow sculpture, well, that may change tomorrow though.
Exactly.
It could be a real good day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm gonna get schooled in what makes good snowman snow.
No, we already did that.
We don't have to hit you again. with
yeah,
that
we don't
one.
do it twice.
Outside of that, Dana and I kind of looked at the report quick to see if there's any big items we need to touch on, but most of the applications you're aware of, so. Outside of that, it's pretty much the end of my report and Dana's report, so.
So Dana has not just been hanging out, drinking coffee in the break room, apparently.
No, it's been.
This is a lot.
So no, and let's hope that we get lots of funding from our government. So
We deserve it.
move forward. Any questions from council?
Oh, seems good. Anything else?
No.
Perfect. Well, have yourself a good day there, Kevin. Enjoy the sun.
Thank you. Thank you. And see you on Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Have your pencil sharp, your
Oh.
eraser.
You're
what
right.
it is?
I forget which number he drew.
I
was looking
think
at-
he is like first
Oh.
or second.
Did you do it in a hat? No, oh, you fix it?
Because Jason was supposed to go first
Jason.
last year, and there was a snowstorm, so we bumped him. And then Kevin had to go first last year, so
Oh.
Jason was up this year, whether he liked it or not. Now it'll probably be another snowstorm.
I
and
will
then
say,
he'll
what's
get bumped
Thursday?
again.
That'll be a big mouth.
Oh, boy.
We'll see what his excuse is this year.
I'm glad that we're doing it here and not at the Eagles Nest.
Yeah, it's
I found that that was weird.
The room was too big.
yeah, it's big.
Well, and I like this.
I thought it was fairly comfy, besides not being able to see the board, but
I know.
it was good.
I cleaned it off today.
You did a good job.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looks really good.
Perfect, Kevin.
Chlorinated brake clean?
So you got it all.
That's what I
sharpened up?
use.
Bleach and alcohol.
Oh.
Oh, I use brake clean on it.
All right, have a good day, Kevin. Thanks.
Take care, Kevin.
Perfect. So Annette,
Oh,
move on to your report now. That is probably the cleanest the board's looked in the last probably 3 years.
I don't know if inhaling alcohol and bleach was good for me, but
Well, it's better than other things.
You're fine.
Hey. You
It couldn't be worse
reaching
than
out,
brake.
oh, hey, you're just taking proactive steps and being
Yeah.
safe.
yeah,
It couldn't,
Yeah,
it couldn't be worse than using brake clean.
that's probably true. So we have tomorrow we have the Boncher Union Public Library Budget Meeting scheduled by Zoom with ourselves and Norfolk and Overforce and the library board. So I don't know if council's coming in here. We're gonna Zoom with the owl, and then Norfolk is gonna Zoom with the owl, and they'll be at the library, but
I'm gonna stay home and Zoom because
Okay.
I want to log in, and I'll discuss this when we get to firefighter.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to log out and log in right
Okay.
away as like quick.
okay.
I'll
So-
explain all that when we get there, guys.
So it is by Zoom, whether you're here or whether you're Zooming or you're doing it from home.
I'll be just zooming in.
Yeah, okay.
I like that zooming is now a verb. I'll be zooming
Yeah.
in.
I actually think it stands for something not nice, so I try not to use it, but unfortunately
Oh,
I didn't
well, it's
listen
like
to
the-
myself this time. Anyway, don't Google it.
I'm gonna do it right now.
What would your reaction been 5 years ago if you said we're gonna zoom in?
I know.
You
Oh,
like
so
that?
many words. So many new words, right?
Oh,
Googling it there?
He is.
don't do it.
Don't do it, Tim.
Well, I know a lot of terms.
At the point that I was writing this report, we had only received 2 resumes for the CBO bylaw position and 4 calls of interest. I now have 4 resumes, which I have copies all for council. We can review that when we have a discussion in closed as how we want to move forward with the hiring there. Yes, still working with Glenn Gordon. We did actually have Sam Buttle, who's the building inspector, not the chief building official, but the building inspector, assisting with overruns in Whitewater region. So he did come in and assist us because Glenn is away for a couple of weeks. So he is assisting us the next 2 Fridays. So I do have a bylaw for that. We already had a bylaw appointing Glenn from 2019, which we never repealed, but we didn't have one for Sam. So it's there. So if he does approve any comments or anything with it there, he's covered with us. And he's still going to continue to get paid through Whitewater region, and they're gonna invoice us. So this kind of made sense if it was only for two Fridays.
Mhm.
Firefighter certification regulations. If any of council is aware of this, we sort of went through this back in 2017, 2018.
2017.
So working with the fire chief, looking at comments that were prepared before, looking for direction from council. However, the comments have to be in by the end of the month, and we've got ongoing meetings coming up this week and next week on the regulations. So I'd like to be able to attend those and then work with the fire chief to come up with comments. We can call a special meeting if council wants to be in on those comments, or looking for direction. Are you okay with myself working with the fire chief to come up with comments and the mayor too?
I absolutely want to be involved because in 2017, when the Liberal government attempted sort of a certification light of this particular mandatory regulations, I happened to be the warden at the time
Yes.
and lobbied very hard with the Liberal government. Actually, our fire chief presented to the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus in Calabogie, and we managed to get it toned down. But when we get, this is very serious. This is very, very, very serious, guys. No small municipality can afford this. Actually, you know what? Take 6 off the board. I'll just do it now. We have, we've been invited to a meeting at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon with the Solicitor General and the Ontario Fire Marshal. Oh, no, sorry, the Ontario Fire Marshal. And then we have a subsequent meeting on Friday. We just can't afford it. And I'm going to repeat something that one of my fellow wardens, I believe from the Western Ontario Wardens Caucus, said in 2017. If this goes through, I'm going to take the keys to all of our fire trucks and I'm going to drive them to Toronto and leave them on the Solicitor General's desk, because we just cannot afford what they're proposing. You know, in order to do extrication, you have to do all the things before it. And since extrication is one of our core services, this makes me very, very, very nervous. I am not saying I don't want our firefighters trained, but I am absolutely against this kind of overreach. We can't afford it. If the province wants to pay for it, then they're gonna have to find firefighters that are willing to go through all of this training. And at this point, I don't see it. Like, these courses are not, they're not small courses, and they've closed Gravenhurst and they haven't given us a local hub to train, which we thought might be Algonquin College or CNL, but of course there's security issues with CNL going in and out. But this is something that I feel very strongly about, and I am going to lobby, even though I'm not the warden anymore. I am going to lobby as the mayor of a small municipality, knowing fire the way I do. And guys, I need you to stand behind me. We cannot have these regulations go through. So I hope everybody read them.
Oh, I was surprised that it's almost what we turned down in 2017 is back up
Oh,
again.
this is way worse.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
So then the simplest way is you're looking for us to give you direction to work with the fire department and then work with members of council that are interested in it. And if we gotta call it emergency council meeting to say, yes, we approve it, or good putting our names behind it, then.
Actually, I would prefer that. I would prefer, because in 17, I had the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus behind me, right? So that was sort of a different lobbying effort, but I would really appreciate it if all 5 of us could be involved and stand behind stopping this way overreach.
So for planning purposes, so then sounds like you already have a lot of the stuff already scheduled to discuss with the department, with the fire department anyways.
Yes, so in discussions with the fire chief, we believe that likely the minimum cost to this regulation will be $10,000 per firefighter. Also, the issue is that a lot of these courses are online, and there are a lot of book work, and a lot of our firefighters, what would happen is then they can't fight fires. They're going to be in a classroom, and they like to be hands-on. That's what they like to do. And so you're going to discourage a lot of people who want to fight fires. And then what's going to end up happening is we're not going to have enough firefighters to fight the fire. So I think it's actually going to not achieve what the government wants to do, but it's going to go backwards. And I think most of the arguments that were made in 2017 still relevant today. Like nothing's changed. So I don't think it's going to be too difficult to put the comments together again, because we've already sort of had the discussion once. But yes, it sounds to me like we'll be calling a special council meeting to review those comments before February 28th. So I'll set the date.
Everyone's good with that?
And
Yeah,
we'll-
Well, you know me, we're having to prevent government overreach.
But this, guys, I can call up what happened in 2017. The fire chief probably has all of his notes from that time. But this is beyond, I couldn't believe it when I read it.
Yeah, so be it,
Okay.
next week or the following week, just let us know when the meeting is and.
Yeah, the fire
Discuss
chiefs are
before
meeting on the 23rd of February, so it'll be in between the 23rd and the comments have to be in on the 28th. So it'll be somewhere in that time period. I will,
Okay.
I'll call. I think we have to give 48 hours notice anyway, so.
Yep,
Yep.
perfect.
It's fine.
And I mean, it doesn't have to be a, day-long meeting. It can just be an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
I schedule it at 3:30.
Whenever.
A little bit later, if that's
Four-
okay,
like
just
4
in
o'clock?
case. Yeah, if that's all right. Just, I don't know with this time of the year is always,
5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 3?
that's better. Well, actually, no, I'm already at work then.
Gotta get her in before half loads. come out.
Yeah, it's
That's
so.
exactly-
Sounds
Schedule
like we have
for
a
4
plan.
o'clock somewhere in between.
Perfect.
then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm fine with that.
Sorry. The draft comments are in there as far as the new animal welfare regulations for outside dogs. I did review and have a discussion with Tammy. I gave her the paperwork. She didn't come back to me with comments, but we did have a phone call conversation. And seemed to be mostly on the same page. There were some that were kind of no brainers as far as I was concerned, that yes, that is what classifies an outside dog. That makes sense to me. But there were others that were really overreaching. And I'm not even sure how they were going to be measured. So if, as you can see in the package, those were the comments that I made were, these ones I don't even know how you'd measure this. If you put this into place, who's enforcing it and how would you measure it? And some of the other ones, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with them, except that I don't even know that we need them. Like they seem,
And that was the whole
So-
problem with the whole situation, and that was,
yeah,
we're kind of
The
getting
slippery
in,
slope.
we're getting into an area that's really not ours either, right?
yeah.
What I found very interesting, after the last meeting, when we had these draft regulations, the next week or whatever, it was a few days later, I turned on the TV on W5 and they had a big story on how badly dogs are treated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, is this just coincidental?
Yeah, the commercial end of it. Well, that was the one note I wrote down, was just that more requirements for dogs and the capacity to enforce them.
Yeah.
There is nothing.
Who's gonna enforce it?
Who's enforcing it? But why is it landing again on our plate, on the municipal taxpayers' plate? Why?
The problem is if we agree and do it, then we'll be looked at to having to enforce it.
I know.
That's why they're dumping it on our plate.
Well,
Well, it's like majority of our
Yeah.
bylaws, they're
Yeah.
kind of pointless to have because we
Yeah.
can't even enforce them
Yeah,
anyway.
if
So
you can't
it's-
follow.
it's meaningless. You might as well just grab like the old trash cans and the old Windows computer and just stick everything there and get rid of it because you can't enforce it or pay for it. No different than the firefighters. You can't afford 400,000 and then have a turnover of firefighters. It makes zero sense.
well, then what happens when that slippery slope turns into a cash grab by training centers? What happens when it goes from 10,000 a firefighter to $25,000 a firefighter?
Well,
If the province wants to pay for it and they can figure out how to keep our level of service, more power to them.
And pay
But
the,
our taxpayers can't
well,
afford it.
it's gonna.
and pay the firefighters their salary while they're away on tour.
Exactly.
Perfect. So sounds like you
So
got.
the comments
direction
are
there.
good. I can go ahead and submit those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I look at the comments. Yeah.
We just need to get it out enough. We need to get our frustration out.
Jen hasn't been in person for like 2 meetings, so she's all.
I know, I'm all ramped
Just the
up.
first one this year, isn't it?
I think it is.
No, I was
Yeah.
here for one, but then I threw out my back.
So the meeting date, so are we continuing on for the rest of the year at 3 and 5:30? Or are we trying it again for the month of March, or is that like the new norm?
This works for me.
It works for me.
Works for me.
But EGC starts at 2:30, guys.
I missed
I was
that.
I missed the memo.
I was going through my package and I was just like, I went through my emails.
I even looked it all over today. I'm like, okay, everything is good. And I come in, I'm like, wonder what time we're gonna have that.
I
And
actually,
Jack and I were sitting here like the fools that we are.
I was only
like,
5 minutes late, so we could have went,
yeah,
but
Yeah, I left early and got a haircut on the way here. I could tell.
so then everyone's good with the 3 PM start.
Yeah.
and then-
Just
I think it works out very well.
And any public planning meetings then will have to be after council, so they will be at 5:45 or 6 o'clock. So,
5:45.
yeah, so, well, depending, like sometimes we have 2, right? Sometimes it's 5:45 and 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So just letting you know that, and then of course, that means Dana's gonna have to stay later in the day.
And EGC's meeting,
She said
bold,
she's okay.
large bold print.
As long,
It's EGC's mean large bold print.
Connie did send like
I know.
Yeah.
a separate email went.
oh, a separate
Oh,
one,
but I
that's
don't-
why. 'cause
I
looked
didn't
at
see
the-
the time.
Oh
That's
my
fine, I didn't see it either.
The actual time wasn't in it. I checked it and I checked.
It's
the
not on the
pack-
agenda, but
Well,
it's
see,
in
that's
the
where I was
email.
It wasn't in the email. The
And
date
it's
was
in
on it.
the council agenda,
I didn't see
or the
time.
committee agenda.
Not the time though,
Come on.
not the time.
Yes, the time.
You'll have to prove us wrong.
Yeah, we need,
Oh,
I need, we
here.
need a primary source document.
Yes, please.
But Annette, carry on with your report, please.
Okay, so we are officially now 3 and 5:30
There.
for the rest of the year.
Sounds good.
Oh, it's on, oh, yeah, where?
Look at the top.
So that is really the
Oh,
end
in
of my
fine
report.
print, of course.
Unless you have any questions on the
Where
building permits.
is
There's a
it?
few that have been issued in 2022, but it's just, it's a slow
I'll have
time
to
of
watch
year.
you guys. Try to stick
Um,
that stuff in on it's like that.
So
Right there.
unless there were
Oh.
questions on that, that's, or
I never seen it up there.
I
either.
did
Neither did I.
review the.
All right, everyone, please turn attention to Annette for a report, please. Thanks.
Sorry, Annette.
I didn't add in the financials because we don't have the 2021 year end audited yet. They're coming in next week. And as far as what happened in the January, we don't even have a budget set, so I'm not sure what you would be comparing it to in the financials. You would just be looking at 1 month's worth of expenses without a budget, so.
Yeah.
I didn't include them because I didn't think they'd be very relevant. However, the board report and of course the check register and all that is in the council package. So you can still see all of the expenses that we did for the month. So I don't know if there's any questions on building or on finance, but that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Perfect. Any questions? Nope, it sounds pretty straightforward. Perfect. So that's all for reports for today. For correspondence and correspondence A, so we provide the information for the Eganville and Area Horticultural Society. So it's really, there's more, they have 2 new presidents now. They have 2 co-presidents. So it's more just to have information that we can also give to future councils as well for the information. So I think it's like an introductory package. So it's really just any new council and current council have like the full mandates, expectations, everything in the historical side of it. So I was speaking with Francis and she just thought it was really important for our council to have it as well.
Well, and I really appreciate it because we do contribute.
Mhm,
So I think it's important for us, much like the library at a glance.
mhm.
I think that this was good.
Yeah, so if there's any questions on that, you can reach out to either or president and move forward from there. But there's also a fiscal booklet as well to provide as well, and I shared that with the municipality, so they have that. And then pretty much in correspondence A, it's just great news that we got more funding for VTAC. So remember if you can speak towards it.
Okay, so this has been near and dear to our warden's heart since the pandemic started. This was an initiative started with our paramedic service with support of county council. And you sort of live day to day going, I wonder if we're gonna get that funding. But we literally on just before our finance and admin meeting got the commitment that VTAC will be supported for the additional provincial year of 2022 into 2023. In that time, I know that our warden and MPP Yakabuski are going to work to see if we can make this a permanent thing so that we're not going year over year. I can provide you with stats of, we'll do it at our next meeting. Actually, I'll send out the graph, but the statistics of how RCVTAC has helped our residents, and more importantly, those without a family physician. Absolutely phenomenal uptake of this program. And we're so thankful to Minister Elliott, the Premier, and of course, John Yakabuski, who was a champion in getting us this money once again. Again, something that the province believes could be rolled out across the province. No bricks and mortar, just an unbelievable program for our ratepayers, and 100% funded by the province. So, yay.
And then I had noted, so for Conway's Pharmacy, seems fairly straightforward. Annette, did you have any comments on the Conway's Pharmacy's correspondence letter?
No, so it is kind of bizarre. So I did have a conversation with Daryl and with Jason, just to make sure there wasn't some kind of infrastructure or something there that we weren't aware of. Neither of them seemed to think so. Also touched base with McIntosh Perry in regards to the bridge, because I didn't know if it was somehow connected to the bridge, and anyway, no, everybody seems to think it's just doesn't really make sense why that little section is there. But I guess when those parcels were sort of consolidated, because I guess they were separate parcels, it must have just been like a part that got missed when the registrations were happening. So that's what.
I felt like this was sort of just a housekeeping issue.
Yes,
that
yes.
It went wrong in the 90s.
That's right. Yes, that appears to be all it is. So if council's fine with it, I didn't do the resolution today because I didn't know what the discussion would be, but we'll move forward with a resolution to declare it surplus at the March 1st meeting. I don't think there's any panic. They're just looking to clean it up. We'll move forward with declaring it surplus, and then having their lawyers can drop the transfer and we'll just sign it over. I don't think we're looking for anything. I don't think we intended to hold on to that property. I don't think we even knew we owned it.
I was just going to say that. I don't even knew that we owned it.
It's not like and maybe it's a mistake even that we, but let's just clean it up and move forward. And it's just a process of
it's
the
like most
municipal
real
act.
estate, when you have the
Yeah.
small little sections of parcels, like a
Mhm.
lot of people like say, well, nothing's ever gonna happen of it, and do you want to pay the extra like $500 to do the paperwork for it or not? So
Yes,
like
yes.
I like how I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of transactions similar, so.
Yeah, like I don't think it's not like a piece of property or something that's owned by the township that we could use.
No.
It's not something that I don't think we even intentionally meant to own. I think it's a mistake. And so we'll just declare it surplus and get the transfer done. And we're only declaring it surplus because that's what the municipal act tells us we have to do. Like, I don't even think we intend, like, I don't even know if we rightfully own it.
Yeah, Councilor Archer?
Yeah, I was just wondering, if nothing to do with easements or anything like that.
No, we looked into that and nobody can figure out why that's there.
Yeah, because we have our easement on the other side.
Yeah.
like,
that's what I
on
was
the other
thinking.
side where the
Yeah.
bell lines
Yeah.
run and stuff, but on that side, I was looking at the map, like I couldn't figure out what would
Yeah.
be there or anything.
Yeah, but maybe I'll touch base with one call and just see if there's anything there. But again, I still don't know
If we
if
have
that
the
would be,
authority for it,
I
or
was gonna say,
like, if there's an easement registered, because they sent me the parcel register and there doesn't seem to be any easement registered under that pin.
Right,
But if there was, it would go with whoever owns the property. It wouldn't have to be us. Unless it was
Well-
our easement, which it's not.
it depends what the
Right.
easement, if there is an easement, what's the easement for?
Right, so we know it's not for water, it's not for sewer, and it's not for roads, and it's got nothing to do with the bridge. So it's not
And who was
sewer.
the lawyer that did it?
Yeah.
So we're, yeah. Bizarre, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but anyway, I just, might be worth just to verify on that.
not like they had the good GPSs back in the day.
Like,
Yeah,
there's nothing on the road easement registered on the parcel register, and
Okay.
and as far as Jason, Daryl, no, like, and McIntosh Perry, no, there's no infrastructure there that belongs to us.
Councilor Sisson?
Oh, I'll wait till we're done with that talk, but I just kind of wanted to go back to B1 on the.
Oh, okay.
On the correspondence, I kind of skipped over that.
Yep.
you got missed.
That's all right.
I'll add the resolution to the March 1st, but I can do a couple more inquiries, but we're not finding anything. We have no
Okay.
idea why it's like that.
It's so weird.
And then, so Conway's, and then we'll move back to the city of Brantford, addressing the revolving door of justice, accountability for sureties and swift justice.
So I see now it was, we're included with this in our correspondence, and I'm looking at what they were addressing. But the message is the same, I think, for a lot of what's going on in a lot of the urban communities, and I think that should be supported, right? It's the revolving door, and it really goes into play. And I don't know, I always say, stay in your lane, but as a law-abiding gun owner, a lot of times the focus always goes on the guy that's lawful and not on the criminal. And I get that from this as well. They want to make sure that it's not a revolving door. And far more often than not, people chase the wrong tail when it comes to enforcement. So I was just wondering if council would consider supporting that as well, because I think it's a good policy to support.
I have no problem with supporting it. Can we just bring it back to our next meeting?
Yeah, I'll bring
Okay.
it back March first, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
And we do have to talk about the women's sexual assault.
Yep, so then, any comments on, this BJR consulting correspondence? Okay. And then, so then Women's Sexual Assault Center, We Stand with Survivors campaign. My understanding, it's been the exact same for the last
Yeah.
numerous years.
3 years.
Yeah, so,
So would you mind getting in touch with her, but letting her know that it's not Bill Kennedy anymore?
I was gonna say, yeah.
I think they're the same as last year's.
We've had that discussion a couple times.
Yeah.
I'll look at it. I think it's just a form letter. that
I know,
sent out.
I know.
And I
Yeah,
don't want to change it because then I'm messing with something coming to council.
Right.
So I just leave it. But yes.
yeah, no, that's great. Yes, so this will be the 4th year.
Okay, new and anything else in correspondence? There's no correspondence C, so we'll move on to new unfinished business. Pretty much library board update. Will all be really, that was more just a reminder that we have our budget tomorrow at 3:30 and we'll go over everything that pertains to the library tomorrow, and we're meeting by Zoom. So,
Okay.
pretty straightforward. Two, the annual donation to the Horticulture Society, straightforward. It was
Absolutely.
$1,000. They haven't been asked for anything more. And three, the draft letter to the Prime Minister and the Premier, the call to action. Comment?
Okay, so I am quite comfortable putting my signature on this. The one thing I wanted to remove was the word illegal in the last paragraph. I don't want to go down that road. But outside of that, I think it's excellently drafted. Thank you to Annette. And again, I want to urge our ratepayers to understand that this is not an anti-vax. This is not about the convoy. This is not an anti-mask. This is, once again, give us the rules, stick to the rules, and we'll follow the rules. We've talked about it ad nauseum, and the one thing that I've said to a couple of our ratepayers is that it's very frustrating for a little municipality to have to pivot on a Friday afternoon to ensure something like the splash pad is open, or that all of a sudden the rules at the arena have changed, or the rules for our restaurant owners have changed. And I think, I'm not sure that we need to send it to the Premier at this point, but I definitely think it needs to go to the Prime Minister as just a plea, just find the endemic in all of this. But outside of that, I thought it was amazing.
So
I still think we should send it to the Premier.
Oh, we can.
I
We
support,
can.
yes, it should go to the Premier because at least
Yeah.
that
Well, then I guess
specific
then
message, you know.
Premier Ford knows that or do we just CC the Premier on it?
No,
No?
no, we'll
No.
give him his
All
own.
right,
Give them-
all right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just feel that he's, over the course of the last 2 days, a lot has changed in the province.
A
of
week is an
Ontario.
eternity in politics,
I-
right?
Oh my
No, and
gosh.
it's true. And the reason why, right? And in no way, shape or form now, do we want him to say, okay, in 3 years from now, we're going to stick to that and hold it longer?
No,
And that's where
no.
we're getting at, if you
Yeah.
wanna let us out of jail earlier, we'll
Yeah, we'll
probably
take
like
it.
to do that, right?
Yeah,
But
no.
don't say we're going back in again in the fall. And that's where I think it's been such a strain on the mental health of so many
Yeah.
people because it's a hard concept for a lot of individuals, right? They
Well, even meeting by Zoom and not having us sit at a table all together, I've been finding that very, very, very difficult. And not only on my eyes, but not having the sort of the body language and the interaction with other members of council, I found very difficult. But and you're absolutely right, Tim, the mental health, the health of our kids, they're sitting in front of screens. I see this as a really good letter to the Prime Minister saying, we get it. We get why certain things had to be done, but now almost every single medical officer of health is saying the same thing. we now have to live with this virus, so we have to find a way to live with it.
And that's the thing in a big process to healing now, right? Is to give people that back the definitive dates, or at least that we're not going to go back down this hole again.
Just
Because
yeah.
what's been happening is they, and I've heard this as well, there's people that are scared to go to their house now.
I know.
They're scared to live, right? They're terrified.
Kids are afraid to leave their
They're
house.
terrified of one another. And it's gonna be a long healing process now. And if the trend is down and we're able to start to live with this, we have to be able to give time to the people that need to heal as well.
But I think
And not to inflict
in
more
this-
onto those.
In
because-
this letter, we're talking about the preventative measures that the governments have given us that we are following.
Yes,
And, you know, over the last 2 weeks, I've heard everything from Bonashir Valley Council is anti-vax, which is not true, to Bonashir Valley is anti-mask, which is not true, and that this is supporting the convoy. And I thought, it has nothing to do with the convoy. This is about us standing together and saying, just give us some sort of idea of relief, because it's been 2 years. We're going into our 3rd year of this, and I firmly believe that we're going to have to figure it out. And of course, you know, I am double vaxxed, but is the rule now going to be triple vaxxed? And is it then going to be quadruple vaxxed? And so I'm worried about the evolution of that as well. And if there are going to be barriers put on people that maybe had a bad reaction to one or the other of their vaccinations and are a little loath to go and get another one. So I just, you know, I am absolutely not anti-vax, but I just feel like this sort of spiraled out of control to the point that people were coming down on us over the last 2 weeks about something that we hadn't even drafted and that hadn't even sent out a draft. So it was very hard to defend it sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah, I think also what we're looking for, I'm looking for anyway, is some kind of, maybe not a specific end date, but an end procedure. How, we're not gonna go on this
Yeah.
forever and ever. I mean, it's gonna be like a flu shot, you get a shot once a year. What's it gonna be?
Then
What
tell
happens
us
if,
that.
what happens if another virus comes along? Are we all?
I mean, and the worry, of course, is another variant. So I understand that it's hard to give a hard end date if there are more variants coming from overseas or right here in North America. But anyway, that's my take on it.
but the biggest part, I think, of why this letter has to go out there is we cannot always be in a state of emergency either, right? That's not acceptable in the public size, and I've gotten the opposite of, as far as I've got a lot of support on what has happened, you know.
Don't get me wrong,
You know what I
I've
mean,
had support as well.
in what was happening, I received an overwhelming amount of support. Some people said, you know, not all the way, but some of them said more so. Hey, so we're very much meeting on middle ground in what we're doing, as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
You
and
know?
to your point, Tim, I think that when I then explained to people that reached out what the nature of this letter was about, they were like, oh, that's not word on the street, right?
Well,
That's not what
and-
I'm hearing at the grocery store.
And it's the same thing as the word on the street, and I explained it earlier about even what's happening in Ottawa.
Right.
That word on that street is totally different, and as I explained a little earlier, you know, and people get, you know, swayed one way or the other. It was a grassroots movement, you know, that did get big, and it got big naturally. And the amount of trucks that entered into Ottawa weren't there to occupy Ottawa. It just so happened that so many people wanted to get involved that they didn't know what to do with them. So the guys that were out on the highway and all, they had to leave live lanes open. They had to leave traffic alone, and nobody wanted to be, you know, stuck back into the residential areas. They wanted to get to the hill. And you got guys that drove from British Columbia all the way, and there were, you know, 1,000 trucks back that wanted to get to the hill. Of course, you know, they were coming in and out. But anyway, with that being said, things, you know, go a certain way from whatever side that actually sees it. You know, so,
I'm fine putting my name on it, my signature on this, except for the word illegal, because I'm not, that's,
I think.
those are
with that,
fighting
Tim,
words.
What happened in Alberta? The original protesters weren't expecting that.
oh, and, no,
Like
that's,
these
well,
guys
this
had
is-
infiltrated it.
Though
Right.
this is a different conversation
That's
anyway,
right.
so we should
Yeah.
stick
Yeah.
to the main, like
Yeah.
the reason we're here, which is the draft comments or the draft letter, I mean. And the biggest thing is I think everyone's like my focus, and I think a lot of people's should be, is just where everyone should be working on themselves, getting everything healthy again, getting your kids happy again. Like the thing is, remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago, my daughter started dance. So like the biggest smiles on her face, she's doing sports with other kids and stuff. Mass smile, there's 5 other little girls in the classroom. So the thing is like, you can completely understand like your kids playing hockey, sports, not being engaged in the activities anymore from the parents aspect of it as well. But you would love to see it this year. That's why I've said, talking to other parents in the community, it's like, well, we want to have soccer this year, we want to have baseball, we want to be able to plan for it and not have the stress put on our volunteers. We want to be able to open up and understand that we need to get our kids healthy again, not only physically, but mentally. And that's actually what helps them with this virus and gets them healthy and good. And that's the thing. So no, I support the letter and let's get moving forward.
it's been a long 2 years, and we're all wanting to see that end date, you know, and I think that's, you know, for all of us, absolutely, let's get going on
But
that.
once again, Tim always knows how to get me with mental health.
Well,
It's-
it's a big thing in our community, right? And I've been approached by it many
Well,
times.
not
It's a
only
really,
like that-
really big deal to me. And I've
Absolutely.
been working really hard to get some money flowing from that ministry. So yeah, like
Well, you look at it from physically to emotionally for people, but most importantly, no one talks about economically. Like the amount of inflation that's going up and people's pensions aren't carrying up. The impact you're having, 300,000 businesses closed in June of 2020 and continue, you're gonna see more delinquencies and bankruptcies carry on to this year.
food prices,
Well, food prices, imagine going out to get bacon. I was talking to employees today, like some taxes went up for them. And the thing is a lot of them are like, the thing is, a lot of them are like, well, when's the last time you had a good steak? They're like, hey, you can't get one right now, really, most time. But the thing is like everything's going up, gas, everything.
yeah.
So like, there's a lot more to this as well. But most importantly, I think that we should get the letter sent out and move forward. Councillor Rosner?
Yeah, in reviewing the letter there, I'm quite in favor and support it. I really like the way you listed out the recommendations
So did I.
because they're very clear and precise. So it's like, give us next, for example, I'm just looking at it here for number 6, for example, give us clear medical evidence that specifies why we have to wear these type of, you know, and yeah, it's a good letter, it's to the point, and it's precise enough that, you know,
Yeah. you
with
did
them
a
looking
great
at it,
job of
they should be able to get the gist of what we're talking about.
Excellent job in that.
But I also think that it's very fair,
Yeah.
especially on behalf of our ratepayers, to put this out. And I feel really bad that it kind of spun out of control after the leader article came up. But in any case, okay, enough said. Thank you.
Okay,
So we will get that out.
Okay, and then draft comments for the standards care for dogs, we've already discussed that. And then Jen, you want to speak towards Enbridge email receipt?
Yes, thank you. I just got this email this morning at 8:18 a.m. Sonia Fazari from Enbridge would like to meet with us. The Enbridge team would like to provide us with an overview of the project and bring us up to speed on preliminary field studies that will be starting very soon, and give us some milestones and answer any questions. So would everybody like to meet with Sonia?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Next meeting?
Oh, you guys all got this
Yeah,
email.
yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
I just realized that. Sorry, guys.
Is that your special or?
No, I
There you go.
just read it right now.
It would be funny if she blind copied us on it. It would be a pretty good joke, actually. but-
Sorry, guys. I read it on my iPhone and I didn't realize that it was, okay,
So do we
so
have any delegations scheduled for the next meeting?
I was just going to ask that. So March 1st, would you guys be okay with Sonia zooming in and giving us an update?
Sounds
Or the
good.
fifteenth.
Sounds-
Okay, Annette, can I throw you this email? Perfect, thank you. Should
Sure,
I?
you sure don't
should I-
want
I know,
want
I
us
know.
to send it to you?
Okay.
Should
yeah,
you want
you're
coffee
funny.
along with it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you guys are a hoot.
The mayor's eyes on it.
Yeah.
Annette, go ahead.
The only comment I would make is that March first, we have 3 department heads who report, and March 15th, we only have 2.
Oh,
So
Then March
do you want
15th.
to do it on March 15th?
yeah,
Yeah, that works.
perfect. Thank you. Yay.
Okay, and number 6,
We've done.
we've already done. Establish next meeting date, which is March 1st. That's great. And then media session, nope. Perfect. So we do have a closed session, and I'll read that forward.
Can we take 5 before we go into close?
Should we take 5 before or go into close and then take?
No,
No.
So what did we do previously?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can
Before
take
you go.
5.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
sounds good.
I need some.
So we'll take 5, everyone.
Yes, glass water.
Perfect, and then we'll go into it. Perfect.
Correct.
Okay. Let me know when we're good.
We are good.
Perfect. So the committee proceed in closed session in accordance with the municipal act 2001, section 239.2, to deal with the matters as indicated below. See if proposed or pending acquisition, disposition of land by the municipality or local board, and labor relations or employee negotiations. Could it please have a mover? Mayor Murphy, Councilor Osmer, all those in favor? Perfect. Thank you very much. And we are now in closed. And that just let us know.